you ready for a great adventure? Today on The World is Yours. Our journey starts where much of our recorded history began. We're visiting the Parthenon in Athens, Greece. Considered one of the most important monuments of early Western civilization, from one of the oldest cities in the world to a beacon of urban modernity, Berlin is setting the pace for the future and is rich with German culture to boot. And where German and Greek influences converge, we'll land on the Mediterranean island of Sicily, where a particularly active volcano awaits our arrival. Ready? Let's go! The world is waiting, and the world is yours. The capital of Greece and its largest city, Athens is one of the oldest cities in the world. The city has a history recorded for over 3,400 years, with a human presence dating back to the year 11,000 before our current era, over 13,000 years ago. Wow! A major hub for the arts and philosophy, including Aristotle's Lyceum and Plato's Academy, Athens is considered the starting point for all of Western civilization. The birthplace of democracy. With its influence on the Romans, and in turn all of Europe, Athens has had a significant impact on the continent and the world. Based on the ancient Olympic Games of Olympia, Greece, in the 8th century BCE, the first ever modern Olympic Games, known as the Games of the First Olympiad, were held in Athens in 1896. The Panathenaic Stadium, also known as Kalimarmaro, is Greek for beautiful marble. The venue in Athens is one of its main historic landmarks. It is the only stadium in the world made entirely of marble. Originally built by the statesman Lycurgus for the Panathenaic Games in the year 330 BCE, the games consisted of foot races, wrestling, boxing, and many other events. It was 850 feet long, made of limestone, and had tiers of stone benches around a track. Herodes Atticus was an Athenian who became a prominent figure in Rome. He rebuilt the Panathenaic Stadium in marble in the year 143. Herodes made sure to keep the style of architecture entirely Greek, while expanding its scale to rival that of the Stadium of Domitian in Rome. The new Panathenaic Stadium had a capacity of 50,000 spectators. When Roman Emperor Theodosius I came to power, he banned the Panathenaic Games. And the Panathenaic Stadium was abandoned for a substantial period as Christianity came to prominence. It fell into ruin for many centuries, with marble taken from it to enhance other buildings, until the Greeks reclaimed their independence, and the stadium was excavated and refurbished. After the renovations were complete, the Panathenaic Stadium hosted sporting events again in 1870. Prince Constantine and the Greek government initiated a second reconstruction of the stadium, where it became the site of the 1896 Summer Olympics, as well as the last venue in Greece where the Olympic torch is handed over to the host nation. Like the Panathenaic Stadium, Athens is home to a number of remarkable and important ancient sites, many of which are housed within the Acropolis of Athens. Situated at the top of the Hill of the Muses, the Acropolis of Athens is a citadel, a fortified center of the city. The word Acropolis comes from the Greek word akron, meaning highest point, and polis, city. Though the term Acropolis is used to describe many cities in Greece, the Acropolis of Athens is significant because it's the only one referred to as just the Acropolis. In ancient Greece, the city was called Cecropia, after the serpent man Cecrops, the mythological first king of Athens. There is some evidence of the presence of humans living at the site of the city as far back as the 4th millennium BCE. That's over 6,000 years ago, as well as documented habitation in Attica in the 6th millennium. During the early Neolithic period, artifacts from the Middle Neolithic and a Mycenaean palace atop the hill 511 feet above sea level during the Late Bronze Age, followed by the construction of this Cyclopean-style stone wall, over 72 feet long and 32 feet high, serving as the Acropolis's main defense until the 5th century. Historians believe that the legendary Greek author Homer is referencing this wall as the House of Erechtheus in his epic, The Odyssey. It wasn't until the 5th century that the great Greek statesman Pericles coordinated the construction of some of the most historic monuments of the city. This golden age of Athens brought upon the development of the Erechtheum, the Propylaea, the Temple of Athena Nike, all by the hands of the Athenian sculptor Phidias and the architects Ictinus and Callicrates. They, along with Pericles, were responsible for rebuilding the Athenian temples that are still the world's most famous ancient remains. The Parthenon. This legendary temple, dedicated to the goddess Athena, the patron god of Athens, is the most important surviving building of classic Greece and is considered the enduring symbol of ancient Greece, Athenian democracy, and Western civilization. This remarkable temple is also regarded as one of the world's greatest cultural monuments. The Parthenon, as well as other Periclean monuments in the Acropolis of Athens, were built to celebrate the victory over the Persian invaders, a symbol of gratitude to the gods. Though the fall of the Athenian Empire gave the rise of Christianity in the 6th century, the temple was made a church in honor of the Virgin Mary. Then, the Ottoman Empire's conquest led its conversion into an Islamic mosque in the 17th century, and the damage endured by the subsequent wars to follow, the Parthenon has been restored significantly since Greece regained control of Athens in 1832. It stands prominently in the Acropolis for visitors from all over the world to visit, taking in the wonder of a civilization full of incredible innovation that influences the Western world's way of life to this very day, including that of the country where we're headed to next. But first, let's test your world knowledge. The city of Berlin was divided into East and West Berlin after Germany's occupation. After which war was the city of Berlin divided into East and West Berlin? A. The Great War. B. World War II. C. The Cold War. D. The Vietnam War. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. After which war was the city of Berlin divided into East and West Berlin? A. The Great War. B. World War II. C. The Cold War. D. The Vietnam War. If you said B. World War II, you're right. After the end of World War II, the Allied countries split control of Germany between the Eastern and Western countries. The city of Berlin was also split, with each side of the city serving as the capital of its coinciding half of the nation. This lasted through the Cold War. In 1989, the Berlin Wall was torn down, followed by the reunification of Germany in 1990. Berlin once again became the capital of the United Nation of Germany. Berlin, the capital and largest city in Germany, as well as one of the 16 constituent states, is also the 6th most populous city in the European Union, with a population of 3.7 million. The city is situated on the banks of the rivers Spree and Havel, establishing it as an important port city, and one that sat at the crossing of two important trade routes back in the 13th century. It is the center of the Berlin-Brandenburg metropolitan region, which has about 6 million residents. all hailing from more than 180 different nations, making it one of the most diverse urban areas in the world. While the German government has changed significantly over the years, some buildings remain from earlier times in the nation's legislation. One such landmark is the Reichstag building. This historic building in Berlin was originally built to house the Reichstag, which was the parliament of the German Empire from 1871 to 1918. Legislation in Germany was shared between the Reichstag and the Bundesrat, which was the imperial council of reigning princes of the German states. The Reichstag didn't have the formal right to elect or dismiss governments, but when viewed through a contemporary lens, it is a very progressive parliament. German men over the age of 25 could vote for members of the Reichstag. A group of 382 members when the Reichstag was formed in 1871 and expanded to 397 in 1874. Each member of the Reichstag would serve a 3-year term, lengthened to 5 years in 1888. The only way Parliament could be dissolved would be with the approval of the Imperial Council and the Emperor. The Reichstag was opened once a year by the Emperor. The Reichstag building housed the Reichstag Parliament until 1933, when it was set on fire and severely damaged. After World War II, the building was no longer used. The Parliament of the German Democratic Republic in East Berlin, known as the Volkskammer, met at the Palast der Republik, and the Parliament of the Federal Republic of Germany in West Berlin, the Bundestag, met in the Bundeshaus in Bonn. The Reichstag building was left in disrepair until the reunification of Germany in 1990. The building then went through a full reconstruction under the planning of architect Norman Foster. When the building was completed in 1999, the Reichstag became the headquarters for Parliament once again. Only this time, the government institution was referred to as Bundestag. The word Reichstag, dating back to the Holy Roman Empire, would only refer to the building itself following World War II. Our next stop is another iconic building in Berlin, one that remains from the communist era and symbolized the power of communism, during which the city was divided. The building is now a symbol of Berlin and a point of pride for the Berliners. This is the Berliner Fernsehturm. The Fernsehturm, or television tower in English, is one of the most recognizable buildings in all of Berlin. Constructed between 1965 and 1969, the Fernsehturm is located in the Berlin Mitte district near the Alexanderplatz, a large public square, often simply called Alex by the local Berliners. Over 1,200 feet tall, including its antenna, the Fernsehturm is the largest structure in Germany. As well as being a radio transmission tower for radio and television broadcasting networks, the Fernsehturm also serves as a viewing tower. With an observation deck at about 660 feet in the air, which includes a rotating restaurant. Look at the view from up here. You can see all of Berlin from this vantage point. The tower draws about 1 million visitors a year. Because of its shape, it's often referred to as the toothpick and the Telespargel, German for TV asparagus. Some locals also refer to it as Alex Tower because of its location by Alexanderplatz. And speaking of asparagus, it's time to get our hands on some of the local Berlin flavor. What better food to grab on the go than this classic German fast food dish? Currywurst. This local cuisine is made by steaming and then frying a pork sausage, or a bratwurst, and seasoning it with a curry ketchup, a ketchup or tomato paste that has been spiced with curry powder. The currywurst is often served cut into pieces, so you can eat it with a fork. Credit for the creation of this modified bratwurst is given to Herta Heuer. No wonder! I could eat currywurst for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We better save some room, though. It's time we hop down south to the Mediterranean. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Sicily is one of 5 autonomous regions of which European country? A. Spain. B. France. C. Italy. D. Turkey. The answer coming up when we return to The World is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Sicily is one of 5 autonomous regions of which European country? A. Spain. B. France. C. Italy. D. Turkey. If you said C. Italy, you're right. Sicily is a region of Italy. Italy is made up of 20 regions, 5 of which are granted border autonomy or freedom to self-govern by the Italian Constitution. One of these regions is the island of Sicily, the southernmost region of Italy. Sicily is the largest island in the Mediterranean. Along with the smaller islands around it, the region is known as Regione Siciliana. Recognizable by its most distinct landmark, Mount Etna, at a height of 10,922 feet tall, it is the largest active volcano in Europe and the most active volcano in the world. There's archaeological evidence of a human presence on the island dating back to as early as the year 10,000 BCE. It is home to some very important archaeological sites. In this notable historic city, Syracuse is well known for a rich Greek history, full of amphitheaters, architecture, Greek culture, and being the birthplace of the famous mathematician Archimedes. Founded by ancient Greek Corinthians, Syracuse became a powerful city-state, allying with Sparta, Corinth, and influencing much of the entire Magna Graecia, or Great Greece. The name Romans gave the area along the southern coast of what is now Italy. Cicero describes Syracuse as the greatest Greek city and the most beautiful of them all. Eventually, it would become the capital of the Kingdom of Sicily, and with the Kingdom of Naples would form the 2 Sicilies, until the unification of Italy in 1860. Just off the main island, there's a collection of 8 smaller islands, the Aeolian Islands. One of these islands in the Tyrrhenian Sea, off the north coast of Sicily, is Mount Stromboli, the second continuously active volcano in Sicily, and one of 3 active volcanoes in Italy. Stromboli is significant because it is consistently erupting, often visible from the island and surrounding sea, which is why it was given the nickname the Lighthouse of the Mediterranean. It reaches just over 3,000 feet above sea level and 8,800 feet above the seafloor. There are 3 active craters at the peak, but even more unique to this volcano is its Sciara del Fuoco, or Stream of Fire, a horseshoe shape in the north side of the volcano, created by collapses over the last 13,000 years. In the last 2,000 years, Stromboli has been continuously erupting. Once we've had our fill of streaming fire, we'll grab our boards and get ready to surf our way back to the mainland, Sicilian style. But first, let's test your world knowledge. The flag of Sicily includes the face of which figure from Greek mythology? A. Zeus. B. Poseidon. C. Athena. D. Medusa. The answer coming up when we return to The World is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. The flag of Sicily includes the face of which figure from Greek mythology? A. Zeus. B. Poseidon. C. Athena. D. Medusa. If you said D. Medusa, you're right. The Sicilian flag features 3 legs, meant to symbolize the 3 points of the island the winged head of Medusa, and 3 ears of wheat. The 2 colors, red representing the municipality of Palermo, and yellow, the medieval city of Corleone. Grab your board. We're capping off our trip with a kite surfing session. We're going to Marsala City, to the Stagnone Lagoon. Here, we'll find the famous Mozia Island, where we can set up our base camp. Then we'll hit the water. It's shallow in the lagoon, only a few inches to a few feet deep. And during the summer, the water is hot. The 300 days of wind will help us pick up speed. Then we're off, catching waves and cruising across the crystal clear water. Conditions are perfect for kite surfing, for beginners and experts alike. And when we've thrashed to our very limit, we can kick it on the beach and relax. Well, that wraps up our adventure for today. We walked the same streets as the ancient Greeks in Athens. Chowed down on some currywurst as we looked out across the city from Berlin's highest tower. Kite surfed our way around some of Sicily's amazing island coastlines. Not to mention the volcanoes. Thanks for joining us on our trip around the world. There are many more adventures to come. Until next time, the world is waiting and the world is yours.